Now shift our focus to matters education, and let's begin with Nyeri County, where stakeholders in the education sector from Tetu constituency are meeting to deliberate on how to improve education in the constituency. Now, the two-day conference aims at identifying areas of improvement in learning in both primary and secondary schools. KTN's Clement Masombo is at Kagumo Teachers College, where the conference is happening. I want us to cruise over there live to get more information from Clement. Masombo, good morning. Today we are focusing on education. What do we need to expect from that conference?
Good morning to you, Brenda. Indeed, what we expect from this end, towards the end of these 2 days conference here that is bringing together stakeholders from education sector in Tetu constituency, is that they will have come up with the deliberations on how to improve learning in both primary and secondary schools. You remember, you're talking about public schools. And yesterday, the conference started officially yesterday, and yesterday involved stakeholders from the primary schools, and today they are meeting with the stakeholders from secondary schools. But right now I want to speak to some of the stakeholders here to tell us to give us a recap of what they deliberated on yesterday and what they are aiming at deliberating on today, and of course also highlight some of the areas that have been identified so far that need improvement. I'll start with you, Member of Parliament for Tetu, Mheshimiwa Wandeto. It is a two-day conference here to speak about matters education. What did we come up with yesterday, and from today's deliberations, what are we expecting?
So yesterday we had stakeholders from the primary schools. We had our head teachers, our PTA chairs, our BOM chairs, and alumni chair, and a host of other education stakeholders. And we came up with an 11-point resolution from the conference. And key among them is how to basically improve access, how to improve performance, improve transition, and also improve retention in schools. And there are a couple of very unique things that we discussed. For example, we are mooting a school feeding program, which we discussed extensively yesterday, borrowed from a model we copied from a Dagoretti constituency. And we will be discussing how to move that forward. We also talked about how to improve academic performance in our schools, how to basically improve infrastructure, because a number of our schools require a major uplift, and also how to increase enrollment, because a number of our schools are also suffering under enrollment. So it has been a very, very good, it was a very good first day with the primary school stakeholders, and we will now be focusing on working on the implementation of the various issues that we discussed. We had issues around shortage of teachers. TSC was with us, and they are still here with us today, and they made their commitments in terms of the support that they're going to give us to ensure that learning outcomes in Tetu improve. Tetu was an academic giant in the past years, but has been on a steady decline, and I'm very, very determined as Member of Parliament that in the next 5 years we can reclaim our former glory as an academic giant in Nyeri and even in this central region. Today is day 2 of the conference. We have principals of our 33 secondary schools accompanied by their BOM, PTA, and alumni chairs, and we have the same cast in terms of the education stakeholders. And again, we are discussing how to again improve our learning outcomes in our high schools. We are not doing very, very well as a constituency, especially in terms of our transition to universities, which is not very good. Today we'll be discussing that. We are also going to be discussing an innovative free day secondary school, or a very subsidized day secondary school program, whereby parents pay a very, very small portion, and then the rest can be taken care of by CDF and a host of cost-cutting measures. So these are some of the things that we are discussing. We want to innovate in terms of how we deliver learning in Tetu, and we are very, very committed to see that we basically improve our learning outcomes. We have some non-government organizations that are concerned with education matters that are here to help us. Food for Education, Zizi Afrique, and we are also borrowing best practices from Kiharu, from Dagoretti, and the other constituencies that have gone ahead of us.
All right, thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Let me speak to the TSC Regional Director, Mr. Mwenga. Kindly, we understand that insufficient number of teachers is one of the major problems that schools are grappling with. Perhaps as TSC, how are you, through such forums, how are you planning perhaps to make sure that there is enough teachers in, at least in all schools that we have around in Tetu constituency and even in your region at large?
Thank you so much. Shortage of teachers is a countrywide problem, not necessarily in Nyeri for the two or the region. The government has done its bit. Last year we recruited about 35,000 teachers, and currently we're in the process of recruiting about 20,000 teachers. That will go a long way in easing the teacher shortage. It's something that is progressive. And you see, if you look at the manifesto of the new government, they promise to recruit about 100,000 teachers. And so far, we have done 50%. So I can say the shortage is moving down, slowly, but it should be gradual. Yes.
And perhaps from...
And ours is to support the elected leaders in these conferences to ensure that the solutions, all of us implement them. Yes.
And perhaps how, as TSC, how are you? What are some of the other things that you are doing to ensure that you improve learning and education, academic in this region?
Key ones, we are doing capacity building for our teachers, head of institution, and our teachers. Yes. Once we do the capacity building, we empower them, give them more knowledge, new skills, and it goes a long way in assisting them in making easier their work. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Of course, that is Mr. Mwenga, the TSC Regional Director.